I speak to a lot of guys on a day-to-day basis, whether that be in my chats on Instagram, whether that be in my actual coaching business, or whether that just be when I'm out and about, just with the lads or with my family and I'm speaking to guys. And they always tell me the exact same things. I do not have the energy anymore to be able to do what I used to do. My energy is fucked. I feel like I'm tired in the evenings. I never feel rested after a full night's sleep. See, most men, for some reason, seem to think that when it comes to being in shape, it's all eat less and move more. But if you're a dad and if you're a hardworking man and you work long hours and your days are just consistently full, then eating less and moving more is not the reason why you're feeling stuck right now. It's not the reason why you don't have energy levels like you used to when you were in your early 20s. In fact, you don't even have an issue with fat loss. You have a stress issue and it's completely controlling your life, and it's the reason why you have almost zero energy 95% of the time. And that's what I want to break down today. If we just pause for a second and you were to just think about your day at the moment, what your current day-to-day looks like. You probably wake up early in the morning and you feel absolutely wrecked before you even go and do anything. You don't feel rested after your full night's sleep. You probably head straight to work. You're probably going straight out the door, getting ready to go without even eating breakfast. Before your day even starts, you're thinking about solving problems. You're thinking about all the logistics that are going to be happening throughout the day. You're thinking about looking after your family and making sure that they're looked after. That's the most important thing to you. And you haven't really, in the time you've woken up to the time that you get out the door, had a chance to switch off. And there always seems to be something. So by the time you get to 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening, maybe even 6, depending on the time you finish work, you are essentially just dead to the world. Your brain is in complete overdrive. And because your energy levels have been so low, you're kind of just existing for the sake of existing. You're not really there and present in the moment. When you do get home at that time and you finally get in the door, all you really want is a bit of relief. All you want is to sit down and to relax and just to get out of the feeling of that exhaustion that you're feeling. And this is where a lot of guys get it wrong. They start thinking to themselves that it's just a discipline problem. I'm the reason why I can't stick to this. I need more motivation. I need to work harder. Or maybe I need to be a little bit stricter with my diet. I need to restrict myself. I need to just eat clean. But that's actually not what's happening at all. You're not overeating your foods at the moment because you're greedy. And you're not being able to train because you're lazy, or because you don't actually have the energy levels to do it. You're just mentally fried. Your brain has said, fuck this, I don't want to work anymore. I've got enough stuff going on during the day. I need to relax. And that's what's happening. So every time you tell yourself that you're not good enough, and every time you tell yourself that you're the reason why you're not succeeding, you're further reinforcing to your brain that it's right. You need to recondition your brain in order to move yourself forward. And what I found is once you finally start to understand this stuff, everything else starts to make a little bit of sense, and it becomes a lot easier to stick to a process. Because what you're currently stuck in at the moment, and you may not even realize that you're stuck in it, is just this consistent loop. It's a cycle of repeating yourself over and over again. And what you do is you repeat the exact same day that you currently live over and over again. And a lot of guys do it until they die. I don't want that for you. I want you to get out of that loop. That's what I'm going to tell you how to do today. So stress builds up in your system throughout the day. Naturally, you're carrying a lot of stuff as it is. But when the stress builds up to a certain point, it turns into a mental fatigue. So think about it. When you ever felt so tired that your body just felt like it just didn't want to move? You've ever done such a really good day of work where like your joints are sore and you just want to lay down on the couch? Every time you bend your knees, it feels amazing. Well, that's fatigue, right? That's physical fatigue in your body. But your brain can get fatigued too. It can get mentally fatigued. And when your brain is mentally fatigued, all it wants to do is rest. And that completely kills your ability to make any sort of good decision. So have you ever gone through a day of work where you're like, I don't even know what happened today. I just got through the day and I don't know what happened this morning. I don't know how I got through the day, but I just got through it. That's mental fatigue. You've gotten through the day. And when you're constantly mentally fatigued like this, what usually happens is you look for easy things. You look for things to give yourself a release. So you turn to food. You lay on the couch. You scroll on Instagram. You go for a quick takeaway. In some cases, not in cases obviously that I've seen, but maybe you turn to drugs for a quick release. Maybe you start watching porn. This is all different stuff that you do. You look for a quick release to get out of your current situation, to take you away from the day-to-day. All it does is it just takes the edge off. It makes you feel better about yourself for a couple of seconds. And you get this short-term sense of relief. It's this quick release of this hormone in your body. It's called dopamine. And it feels amazing in the minute. And all your body wants is more and more dopamine as a result. But then a period of time passes, and it may be the next morning, it may be like immediately after you finish doing the thing, you instantly regret it. You instantly feel like shit about it. And you start telling yourself this reinforcement loop that I need to do better. I'm going to do better tomorrow. I'm going to start again on Monday. And this loop just goes on forever and ever and ever. And you never really get out of that cycle. So it feels temporarily good when you're doing the thing. It has happened where, you might potentially do the thing and like in the middle of doing your thing, you're like, fuck, I wish I didn't do that. But you've already started it. So you have to fucking finish. Or there's also cases of like, you've done it, you feel good, but then you wake up the next morning, you're like, fuck, why did I do that? So you might have, I don't know, I have this on a regular basis, not so much regular, but I have it quite regularly where if I order a takeaway, I'm eating the takeaway, it feels amazing. I feel really good. And then I wake up the next morning and I look in the mirror and I'm a bit bloated, I'm swollen, my weight is up on the scale. So I'm like, fuck, why did I do that? That's that loop consistently reinforcing itself. And this is what I'm talking about when I say that most guys just repeat the same day over and over and over again, because this is what your day is made up of. It's made up of working. It's made up of turning up for your family. It's made up of being disciplined in that respect, but it's also made up of looking for ways out. It's also made up of being able to escape the everyday life and looking for quick dopamine hits, scrolling through Instagram. And the minute that this stuff happens, there is a guilt that attaches itself to it. And it repeats over and over and over again every single day. And then you get stuck in this reinforcement loop where it's like, I already know what to do here. I know if I follow this, I'll get this result. I know that if I turn up and I do this thing, I'm going to get this result. But you never manage to actually stick to it. And this is the nuance here. What you're currently doing may not be the right thing, or maybe it is the right thing, but what you're doing is the right thing for the state that you're in right now. The state that you are in terms of like your mental state, your mental bandwidth is right now, that you're doing what you can do for that, but you're not being able to do any more than that. And that's where this breakdown is coming from. So yeah, there's a psychological side to this as well. There's a massive psychological effect happening inside your brain that's stopping you from being able to make the progress. So think about this, right? When you're stressed, your cortisol levels spike massively. And without getting too sciencey or too technical here, cortisol is your stress hormone in your body. It manages things like your metabolism, your immune system, your stress, sleep, wake up time. Everything is managed by cortisol. And when you're stressed, it goes up. So imagine when you've got a high level of cortisol, you're going to be naturally just craving loads and loads of shit food as a result. Usually the stuff that you're craving isn't bananas and lovely fruit. It's usually high calorie, shitty junk food, stuff that's like easy to grab off the shelf. Your sleep as a result of cortisol being higher just naturally gets worse. So even if you do manage to get a full 8 hours of sleep, it's never actually proper sleep. It's never fully recoverable sleep. So that's why you wake up in the morning, you feel tired because your cortisol levels are high as a result. You start to become more and more and more hungry every day. And you might have noticed this when you're chronically stressed in the past, that all you want to do is eat. But you might not necessarily be hungry, but you feel more hungry. And as a result of all of this, what happens? Your energy drops. You're not sleeping properly, so you're not recovering. You're not eating properly, so you're not having the fuel in your body to be able to move forward. And because your cortisol is high, that's naturally just going to pull down your energy levels too. This has a massive knock-on effect because you start to move less. You start to train less. You start to do less of the stuff that you know that you need to do that's part of the plan, and that stops you from having more energy in the future. So even if you do have the perfect plan on paper, even if you've managed to sit down, you've been able to scope out exactly what the perfect plan looks like for you, your state isn't perfect. The state that you're in doesn't allow you to stick to the perfect plan. So you'll never actually make progress as a result. And this is the thing, right? This is the thing that I talk about a lot, is because you as a man listening to this video, you don't lack discipline, but you tell yourself that you do. If you lacked discipline, then you wouldn't wake up in the morning and go to work. If you lack discipline, you wouldn't wake up in the morning and try to provide for your family. If you lack discipline, you wouldn't handle the pressure that comes with being a dad. But when it comes to this area of your life, when it comes to your health and fitness, it's just different. And you just cannot be disciplined in that area. And that isn't a discipline thing, because by the time you do all the other stuff there that I just spoke about, by the time that you do provide for your family, by the time that you do go to work and you earn the money and you literally provide, you have nothing left for yourself after you do all of that stuff. Then you get told by influencers online and other online coaches that you just need to eat less, and you need to train more, and you need to do more, and you need to be more disciplined, you need more motivation. And I mean this in the nicest, respectful way ever. Some of that advice will work for someone in their early 20s with no kids, who have no responsibilities whatsoever. Some of that stuff will work, yes, if you train more, if you eat less, and if you are a little bit more disciplined, you turn up to more of your workouts. Of course, you're going to see progress. But you can't stick to that. You cannot do that because your life doesn't allow you to do that. The current life that you're living doesn't allow you to be as disciplined as you need to be in that respect. So instead of just trying to force more and more and more effort onto yourself and to fix everything in a blanket statement, you just need to reduce the friction there a little bit. I'm going to tell you exactly how you can reduce the friction now. If you reduce the friction, you will instantly start to have a little bit more structure. And if you have a little bit more structure, you're going to notice you're going to have way more energy levels, which is the goal of this video. I want you to be able to watch this video, listen to it on Spotify, whatever it is you're doing. I want you to take away from it that you get more energy straight away. So implement this stuff straight away. So remember, as we spoke about, it's not about having the perfect plan. It's about having a plan that works for you with your current state. It's about having a plan that works even when your day hasn't necessarily gone the way that you originally planned it to go. And that can be something as simple as just having a daily or every second day where you just repeat the same meals so that you know what you're going to have for dinner, so that you don't have to physically think, what am I going to have for dinner when I come home in the evening? Because that's just one more decision for your brain to handle. That could be as simple as your training having a minimum standard, whereby you know what you need to do in the gym and you stick to that standard and you don't miss. And you show up for yourself to build the confidence to actually be able to show up. And it can be as simple as having a structure to your week where you're just not constantly relying on how you feel in the morning to go to the gym. You have exact designated times in the week where you're going to go training. You have exact designated times in the week when you're going to actually meal prep. You have exact designated times in your week when you're going to listen to savage videos like this and self-improve. You have exact times in the week when you're going to do stuff rather than just reacting and hoping for the best, because it's the very same as I've spoke about in previous videos too. If you don't track your food for a long period of time, you won't really know what you're eating, so you won't know what is happening. And if you don't track your training when you're in the gym, then you won't know if you're making progress or not. So you'll just think that you're making progress and you'll be stuck. It's the same with your weeks. If you don't plan your weeks and you don't see where your time is going, then you'll always think that you have no time because you don't actually know where your time is going. And this one is very big. This is the last one. I will leave you with this. Your environment needs to dictate what you do with your goals. So if you have a chaotic environment, you're surrounded by people who want to drink all the time, who want to do drugs. You're surrounded by people who just want to party. You're surrounded by people who have no interest in training. Likelihood is that's what you're going to do. If you don't do things to allow things to happen, then you're going to be stuck. A perfect example would be pack your gym bag the night before if you're training the next morning. Pack your gym bag in the morning if you're training later on that night. Actually have a meal prep for later in the evening so it's in the press, it's in the fridge, it's ready to go for later on in the day. Your environment is the most important thing to decide whether you actually make progress or not. So if you can change your environment, that's going to improve your energy levels massively. Because where you're at right now, every time you make a good decision, it feels like a massive, massive effort. Every time you make a bad decision or a decision that doesn't necessarily move you in the right direction, it feels easy and it feels like something that you can just do without thinking about. And the bad decisions, they compound over time to become worse. And then you feel worse and worse about yourself. We want to flip that on its head. We want the good decisions to feel easy. So instead of asking yourself at the start of every week, how do I be more disciplined? How can I have more motivation? Start asking yourself, how do I make this week easier for myself? How do I make it so that I cannot fail? Because when you can actually look at your week and be like, okay, well, that's actually fairly simple. Sometimes the simple approach is the best approach because you can stick to it long term. If you look at your week and it's fucking jam-packed from day 1 to day 7, then you're going to always feel overwhelmed. Whereas if you look at it, it seems a little bit too easy. One of the things I see when someone comes into the rebuild system inside the Life Lift Repeat project in my program, and they're like, they get their first couple of weeks of training, the first thing they always say to me is like, this looks too easy. So yeah, it is too easy. It's going to be too easy a couple of months down the line. But at first, I want to see consistency. I want to see you show up on a regular basis. So you need to start easy sometimes. Get the muscle built to consistently show up and then build from there. Because the funny thing is, when it comes to getting in shape, when it comes to losing body fat, when it comes to being your best self and showing up as the leader for your family, it isn't actually what you do when you feel motivated. Surprisingly enough, you probably only feel motivated when you start doing something. Then the motivation just disappears. It's more or less what you do at 7 o'clock in the evening when you're sat on the couch feeling like shit after a long day. What you do when you're physically exhausted because you've had the kids all day and you're due to go in and do a workout and you just feel so physically exhausted, do you go and do that workout? When your head just feels overwhelmed and mentally fried, or when you just don't feel like doing a single thing, that's where your progress will come from. That's the thing that's going to decide your results. So go and implement this immediately after watching this video. Don't sit on it. Implement 1 or 2 small things. Make your weeks easier. I guarantee that if you can make every single week an easy week and you can win it, it will compound over time and you will start to notice the difference. You will have more energy than you've ever wanted. You won't know what to do with your energy. You will be bored. And what it feels like to be bored, sit in that. Feel it. If you found this video helpful, as I always say, please do share it to a friend who you think might be going through something similar, who wants more energy, who wants to feel better about themselves, because that's how we're going to grow. But until next time, I'll speak to you very soon. All the best. Bye-bye.